and members of the public and Shire officers. I declare this ordinary council meeting of the Shire of Broome open at 1 minute past 5 p.m. I would also like to officially welcome our special guest tonight, Kana Sujiwaki, Assistant Director at the Japan Local Government Centre. So welcome along tonight. Could I ask those in the public gallery to now switch off their mobile telephones and electronic devices in accordance with the conditions of entry to the Council Chambers Public Gallery. In accordance with Regulation 14.1 of the Local Government Administration Regulations 1996, this meeting is being audio and video recorded and live streamed on the Shire's website. Under Clause 6.16 of the Shire's Meeting Procedures, Local Law 2020, I do not give permission for any other person to record the proceedings of this meeting. By being present at this meeting, members of the public consent to the possibility that their image and voice may be live streamed to the public. Recordings are also made available on the Shire's website following the meeting. Please note that any items discussed behind closed doors will not be live streamed. However, once the meeting is open again to the public, live streaming will recommence. I'll remind those in the public gallery that no recording devices are permitted to be used in the chambers to record the proceedings of the meeting without the written permission of the presiding member. Councillors, please remember to turn your microphone on prior to speaking. Item 2, attendance and apologies. Councillor Taylor and Councillor Smith have both requested a leave of absence, which will be dealt with at item 6. Item 3, announcements by President. There are none. Item 4, declarations of interest. We have a financial interest from Councillor Virgo on item 9.4.6, and the item is the minutes and recommendations from the Audit and Risk Committee, and the nature of interest is a proposed budget amendment to the Broome Visitor Centre reactive maintenance, and Councillor Virgo is the manager of the Broome Visitor Centre. There are no indirect financial interests, there's no proximity interests, and there's no impartiality interests. Okay, thank you. Councillors, are there any other declarations of interest not yet submitted? Doesn't look like it, so thank you. Item 5, public question time. There are guidelines that need to be adhered to in our council meetings. During public question time, people speaking are not to personalise any questions about elected members or staff or use any possible defamatory remarks. In accordance with Clause 6.17 of our Meeting Procedures, Local Law 2020, a person addressing the council shall extend due courtesy and respect to the council and the processes under which it operates, and shall comply with any direction by myself as the presiding member. A person present at or observing a meeting shall not create a disturbance at the meeting by interrupting or interfering with the proceedings, whether by expressing approval or dissent, by conversing or by any other means. A minimum of 15 minutes will be allocated for public question time. Each member of the public is entitled to ask up to 2 questions before any other members of the public will be invited to ask their questions. A reminder that public question time is an opportunity to ask questions and not to make statements. Can I remind the public that public questions are to be submitted no later than 12 noon on the day of the council meeting. If you have several questions you wish to submit, please provide these in advance of the deadline to give officers sufficient time to respond. Are there any questions from members of the public present? And there are none. So I will now declare public question time closed. Thank you. Okay, item 6, applications for leave of absence. We have an application from Councillor Taylor for a leave of absence from councillor duties including of 27th of February through to the 22nd of March. Can I have someone move that recommendation? Councillor Matsumoto, Councillor Virgo seconded. Any dissent? If not, approved. There's a recommendation that Council grant Councillor Smith a leave of absence from councillor duties including of 27th of February 2025 through to 28th February 25. Can I have Councillor Massimo moving, Councillor Lewis seconding? Any dissent? There is none. That's carried. There's a further request for leave of absence from Councillor Mahmood from the 28th of April to the 2nd of May. Okay, so do we have someone moving? Councillor Cooper? Councillor Lewis seconding. Any dissent? None whatsoever, so that's carried unanimously as well. Item 7, confirmation of minutes. That the minutes of the ordinary meeting of council held on 12 December 2024, as published and circulated, be confirmed as a true and accurate record of that meeting. So do I have someone moving that motion? Councillor Virgo? Councillor Cooper seconding. Any clarification, any dissent? If not, that's carried. There's a further recommendation, the minutes of the annual electors meeting of council held on 6 February 2025, as published and circulated, be confirmed as a true and accurate record of that meeting. Do I have someone moving that meeting? Councillor Cooper, seconding Councillor Virgo. Any clarification on that one? Any dissent? None. I'll declare that carried. Thank you. Item 8, presentations, petitions and deputations. There are none. Item 9, reports from officers. Item 9.2.1, Stage 17B, Roebuck Estate, proposed road naming, page 8 of the agenda, and there is a report recommendation there. Do I have any questions from councillors, or do I have any direction from councillors? Someone? So you're wishing to move? Councillor Virgo moving the recommendation, seconded Councillor Cooper. Any dissent? If not, carried. Thank you. Moving on to item 9.4.1 under performance, 2025 local government ordinary election, page 14 of the agenda. There is a report recommendation there. Do I have any clarification? If not, no clarification? Councillors?
Yes. I'll ask the same question as before. On what basis have you decided that you need to have an external, non-local returning officer as opposed to a local and slightly cheaper returning officer?
Thank you, Councillor Lewis. I'll defer that to Director James.
Thanks, through the Chair. The non-local returning officer provides council with assurance that there's no bias and objectivity is maintained throughout the election process. The returning officer basically controls the process of the election under the guidance of the WA Electoral Commission and provides for that fair and equitable process to be conducted. They do interact extensively with candidates, and there can be some contentious issues that they deal with, and having a returning officer that has no connections to any of the candidates or anyone locally has in the past proven to be a benefit. There is a slight cost increase over the local returning officer. However, officers at the Shire believe that it will provide a better outcome for council and the community. And given the cost increase is marginal compared to the overall budget, we believe it's the best option for council to pursue.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a mover for the recommendation? Councillor Mahmood, seconded by Councillor Virgo. Any further clarification? Any dissent? If not, I'll declare that carried. Thank you. Item 9.4.2, new council policies, information privacy, recording and live streaming of council meetings and fraud and corruption prevention. Those are on page 26 of the agenda. There is a report recommendation there. Any clarification on those three? If not, do I have direction from council? Moved by Councillor Cooper, seconded by Councillor Virgo. Any dissent on those? If not, I'll declare that carried. Thank you. 9.4.3, monthly payment listing, December 2024. The agenda items, page 45. There is a report recommendation. Do I have any clarification on this one? If not, I'll ask for moving Councillor Virgo, Councillor Mahmood seconding. Any clarification, any dissent? If not, I'll declare that one carried. 9.4.4, monthly payment listing, January 25, page 70 of the agenda, and there is a report recommendation there. Any clarification on this item? If not, do I have direction from council? So moved, Councillor Virgo. Seconded, Councillor Matsumoto. Thank you. Any dissent on this item? None whatsoever. I'll declare that carried unanimously. Item 9.4.5, monthly financial report, December 2024, page 90, and there is a report recommendation there. So any clarification? If not, do I have a mover? Councillor Virgo. Councillor Cooper. Any dissent? None. I declare that carried. Thank you. 9.4.6, the minutes and recommendations from the Audit and Risk Committee meeting held 18 February 2025. Councillor Virgo has declared a financial interest in item 9.4.6, the reason being proposed budget amendment to the Broome Visitor Centre reactive maintenance, and she is the manager of the Broome Visitor Centre. Councillor Virgo has left the chambers while the item is being deliberated. There are two separate recommendations in this item, the first requiring a simple majority and the second an absolute majority. So the first recommendation is the Compliance Audit Return 2025 5.1. Any clarification? If not, do I have a mover? Councillor Cooper, Councillor Mahmood, any dissent on that item? If not, I'll declare that carried. And that was simple majority, so that's carried. Second recommendation is the second quarter finance and costing review 2024-25, item 5.2. Committee recommendation is there. Any clarification on this one? If not, I'll ask for a mover. Councillor Mahmood, seconded by Councillor Cooper. Any dissent? If not, that's carried unanimously. Please can we invite Councillor Virgo back into the chambers. Thanks, Councillor Virgo. Both those items were carried without any amendment. Moving on, item 10, reports of committees. There is none. Item 11, notices of motion with notice. There is none. Item 12, notices of motion without notice. There are none. Item 13, business of an urgent nature. There isn't any at this stage. Item 14, the meeting closed to the public. In accordance with clause 6.2, subsection 2 of our meeting procedures local law, I'd like to move a motion from the chair to close this part of the meeting to the public. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Mahmood, thank you. Is there any dissent? None. Good. Closed. The motion that the meeting be closed. Councillors, please note that live streaming will now recommence, and can I have that confirmed, please? It's been recommenced.
Confirming, yes.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you for returning. I'll read the items that were subject to being closed to the public. Item 14.1, and that was the tender for the provision of Cable Beach lifeguard services. Absolute majority that Council 1 note the recommendation in the evaluation report for RFT 2411 provision of Cable Beach lifeguard services as presented in attachment 1. 2, accepts the tender provided by the Emery Family Trust, trading as West Coast Water Safety as the sole and compliant respondent from which to form a contract after final contract negotiations for RFT 2411 provision of Cable Beach lifeguard services to a nominal value of $1,196,657,000, excluding GST for the 3 years 2025 to 2027. Is that right? Item 3, approves a minor variation for the inclusion of Saturdays from April to October, being 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. for the 3 years 2025 to 2027 for the nominal value of $86,940 exclusive of GST. Item 4, authorises the Chief Executive Officer to negotiate and sign the contract documentation, including the minor variation, and negotiate contract variations during the service if necessary. Point 5, approves a budget amendment of $80,000 exclusive of GST in the 24-25 financial year to increase operational expenditure account GL 114021, general operation expenditure, swim areas and beach lifeguards. Point 6, requests the Chief Executive Officer to undertake a comprehensive review within the period of the 2025-2027 contract, including comparisons with other popular local government beaches, Broome community sentiment, beach use changes arising from Cable Beach foreshore redevelopment, and visitor dynamics on Cable Beach for the purpose to inform future lifeguard service delivery options, including flexible, internally delivered or externally resource options. That concludes that recommendation. Item 14.2, appointment of Director Development and Community. The report recommendation that Council, in accordance with Section 5.37 of the Local Government Act 1995, accept the Chief Executive Officer's recommendation that the preferred candidate for the Director Development and Community position is Miss Suzanne Becker, as per the confidential selection report contained in attachment 1, and that was carried unanimously. There is no other business. So I will declare the meeting closed at 5:27 p.m. Thank you.